Hi, Hallie. It's Aunt Nissa again. And I just wanted to tell you how much I loved you and how much I've been looking forward to finishing the first chapter of Some Other Monkeys with you. And I'm going to send a couple of questions to your mama about what we read so far, and maybe you guys can draw a little picture about your favorite part of chapter 1, okay? And I'll give you some ideas to help you along. I hope you're having a good day. I love you so much. Here we go, all right? About 5 feet from Papa, I threw on the brakes and said in a loud voice, "Papa, Rowdy treat a monkey." Papa just stood there for a second looking at me, and then he smiled and said, "Jay Barry, when a boy's growing up, it's all right for him to see things. I did myself. But you're getting to be a pretty big boy now, and I think it's time you quit seeing things. Rowdy's probably treed a squirrel." "No, he didn't, Papa," I almost shouted. "It wasn't a squirrel. It was a monkey, an honest-to-goodness live monkey. I saw it plain as day." Looking at me kind of hard, Papa said, "Now, hold on just a minute. I can't remember that you've ever even seen a monkey before." "I haven't seen a live one, Papa," I said, "but I have seen pictures of them. You remember that little thing Grandpa gave me a long time ago? It had 3 little monkeys on it who couldn't see anything or hear anything or say anything. Well, that thing Rowdy just treated looked just like they did. I'm sure it was a monkey, all right." I guess papas have a way of knowing when boys are telling the truth. Papa frowned and looked off toward the bottoms. "Maybe you did see a monkey," he said, "but it's sure hard to believe. I've never heard of any monkeys being around here." "Well, there's one here now, Papa," I said. "He's right down there in the bottom, sitting on a bur oak limb, big as you please." Papa didn't even act as if he'd heard what I said. He just stood there, a thoughtful look on his face, staring off toward the bottoms. After what seemed like an hour to me, he chuckled and said, "Why, that explains it. Sure, that has to be." "What explains what, Papa?" I asked. "That monkey," said Papa, still chuckling. "You know all those rich people that come up here in the summer to fish on the river? Well, the way I see it, one of them had a pet monkey and it got away from him." I was just about to go along with what Papa had said when I remembered all those strange noises I had heard. "Papa," I said, "I believe there was something else down there. I heard a lot of different noises. Do you reckon it could have been more monkeys?" "Ah," Papa said, turning to pour seed corn into the hopper of the planter. "You probably got scared and just thought you heard something. Besides, if there were monkeys all over the country, I couldn't do anything about it. I have to get this corn planted. We can do without monkeys, but we can't do without bread corn." I was aching all over for Papa to go with me to look for the monkey, but I knew it wouldn't do any good to ask him. He thought so much of that little old farm of ours he wouldn't have stopped working to watch a herd of elephants march down the road. Just as Papa was putting the check lines over his shoulders, he said, "Oh, by the way, did you find Sally Gooden?" "Yes, sir," I said. "She's down by that old slough. I guess when I saw the monkey I got excited and forgot all about her. I'm sorry. I'll go get her." Papa smiled and said, "No, now that I know where she is, I'll look after her. Your mother needs some things from the store, and I think she has a little job she wants you to do." "Yes, sir," I said, and started to trot for the house. I didn't have the least bit of trouble getting Mama to believe in my monkey. She already believed that the bottoms were full of things that could gobble me up. "Monkey," Mama said, looking all worried. "I don't doubt it. There could be anything down in those bottoms. Monkey! Why, I never heard anything like it. I don't know. I just don't know." I saw right away that if I didn't say something to ease Mama's mind, she was liable to start laying down the law about my going into the bottoms. "Aw, now, Mama," I said, "I can't see why you have to get all worked up about things like that just 'cause I saw a monkey. Papa said it was probably a pet that belonged to a fisherman and it got away from him." "Jay Barry," Mama said, Your father doesn't know everything, but I hope he's right. I certainly do. All we need around here now are some lions and tigers and a few more wild things. We may as well be living in the jungles. I wish more people would move into the country. It's not safe the way it is. It's too wild and untamed. To get Mama's mind off of all the wild things, I changed the conversation. Papa said you wanted me to go to the store, I said. I do, Mama said, but I expect I better get a piece of paper and write down the things I want. Without Monkey running around in your head, you'll probably forget half of the things I need. I waited while Mama got a pencil and a paper and made a list of the things she needed. Cramming the list down in one of my overall pockets, she said, Now you hurry back from the store. I intend to set some hens today, and I need you to put fresh straw in the nests. I will, Mama, I said, and bolted for the door. And that's the end of chapter 1. But it's only been 5 minutes, so I think we should read a little more into chapter 2, don't you? And then we'll put our marker in a good spot in another 5 minutes or so, okay? All right. Chapter 2. It was about 3 miles to the store, and I nearly ran Rowdy's legs off getting there. I was pretty sure that when I told my grandpa about the monkey, he'd know what to do about it. My grandpa was one of those old, slow-moving, boy-loving kind of grandpas. We had been pals for as long as I could remember, and he'd do anything he could for me, and I'd do anything I could for him. If you were looking at the outside of my grandpa, you wouldn't see very much. He was just about as big around the middle as he was tall. He didn't have much hair either. Just a little around the edges, and it was gray and stiff like wild hog's whiskers. He wore glasses, chewed star tobacco, and needed to shave about 360 days a year. It was the inside of my grandpa that really counted. He had a heart as big as a number 4 washtub, and inside that wrinkled old hide of his was enough boy understanding for all the boys in the world. On entering the store, I saw Grandpa over behind the counter, setting canned goods on a shelf. He didn't hear me when I came in. Of course, I was barefooted and didn't make any more noise than a lizard walking on a rail fence. I eased right up behind him and said in a voice much too loud, Grandpa, Rowdy treat a monkey. I saw my old grandpa flinch, just about like I always did when a wasp dabbed his fiery little daggers in me. He took his time about turning around. Ducking his head, he looked over his glasses, and then he looked at Rowdy. Rowdy was just sitting there on his rear, looking at Grandpa. His long ears were sticking straight up, and his tongue was hanging out about a foot. Grandpa must have liked what he saw. He grinned a little and said, Now, let's do that all over again. Only this time, don't talk so loud. You mean you want me to go back outside, Grandpa, and come in again just like I did? I asked. No, said Grandpa, waving his hand. You don't have to go back outside. Just say that all over again. Oh, I said. I swallowed a couple of times and tried real hard to control my voice. Rowdy treed a monkey. Grandpa nodded his head, said, That's what I thought you said. I wanted to be sure, though. Are you sure it was a monkey? Sure as I need a haircut, Grandpa, I said. It was a monkey, all right. It had a skinny tail, 4 legs, baby-looking face, and hair all over it. Papa thinks it was a pet monkey that belonged to a fisherman and it got away from him. Grandpa thought for a second, then shaking his head, he said, No, I don't think that belonged to a fisherman. Is one monkey all Rowdy treed? Well, that's all I saw, Grandpa, but I believe there was something else around there. I heard lots of noises. Grandpa's bushy eyebrows jumped straight up. Noises, he said. What kind of noises? I don't know what kind of noises they were, Grandpa, I said. I've heard all kinds of noises in the bottoms, and I usually know what's making them, but I never heard anything like that before. It sounded like cries and squeals and barks and grunts and everything else. It scared me into a running fit. Grandpa got all excited, took off his glasses, and I saw a twinkle in his friendly old eyes. Then very seriously he said, I'm pretty sure those noises you heard were more monkeys. Sure sounds like it. From what I understand, there were probably about 30 of them. My eyes got as big as bur oak acorns. 30, I exclaimed. Boy, that's a lot of monkeys, Grandpa. Are you sure? I can't be positive, Grandpa said, but I'd be willing to bet my last bucket of sorghum molasses on it. Grandpa, do you know something about these monkeys? I asked. Rearing back and looking as important as Rowdy did when he had treed something, Grandpa said, Sure, I know something about those monkeys. That's what grandpas are for, isn't it? To know things for boys. I grinned and said, Yes, sir, I guess so. It didn't surprise me too much to find out that my grandpa knew something about the monkey. I was finally convinced that he was the smart. I was firmly convinced that he was the smartest man in those Ozark Hills anyhow. He knew a little bit about everything. He knew where all the best fishing holes were and the right kind of bait to use. He knew the best places to hunt and the right time to go hunting. It did seem, though, that all the good things my grandpa knew about were the things that I liked. Okay, that's where we'll stop for today, okay? And I promise 2 videos next week. Thanks for being patient. I'll send your mama an email, and I love you very much. Have a great rest of your day. Bye-bye.